we have to be very, very aware as sales professionals that we are giving our customers what they want and ask for, and then educating them on what else is possible. Welcome to the Sales Made Simple podcast. This podcast is dedicated to helping overwhelmed outdoor living professionals, landscapers, and hardscapers just like you increase your closing rate to over 75% without doubling your workload so you can build a seven-figure business that doesn't need you. I'm your host, Joshua Gillow. Let's dig in. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. We're broadcasting from the beautiful Pocono Mountains in eastern Pennsylvania. And today, I've had some good conversations lately with some contractors around the country about their outdoor living businesses. And you know what? I hear a little bit of everything. I hear some businesses are doing really well. Their schedule's full. The pipeline looks good and they're humming right along. And, that's something I'm glad to hear and glad to see people are really pushing through with this crazy economic times we're in right now. But I also hear the other side of that. I actually hear more people who are struggling. Businesses out there in our industry, hardscapers, landscapers, outdoor living professionals who are putting out more proposals each and every week or getting less leads, but trying to lock them in and feeling the pressure of running a business in times where not everybody is saying yes to you as soon as you show up, right? During COVID, we would go out and we weren't having to sell anything back then. We were order takers. People just asked, how long would it be till I can get you in, and how much is it going to cost? I've got home equity. I've got cash. I've got all this, very optimistic. And they were just buying. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's not the world we live in right now. For a lot of companies out there in the landscaping, hardscaping, and outdoor living space, things are tough. Things are tight. Some guys don't have a lot of work, maybe a week or two or three of work, and they're keeping their fingers crossed and they're praying that they get enough work to fill the year out. And I say all of this because, the thing that I've learned over the last 30 years of serving our industry and serving our customers is that there's always going to be ebbs and flows. There's going to be economies where they're booming and you're just busy. You don't have to think about it. You have the right leads coming in all the time. And there's other times where, man, you can do everything right, pour all the money into marketing. You can be doing the best you possibly can out there with the build side and communication side and what and it just doesn't work, right? You have your pipeline, your pipeline of leads looks good, but they just don't close, or they just won't move forward, or you're kind of stuck, or you've got equipment, you've got employees, you've got expenses and bills to pay, and you don't got the money coming in. That can be a really scary time. So what I want to talk to you guys today about is a concept that we use and been using for years that hopefully will help you if you're one of the people out there that are struggling right now or even doing really well. The struggling side is this idea of meeting your clients where they are. Now, it might sound stupid simple, but hear me out. So a philosophy in sales is always to give your customers what they want, what they've asked for, and then educate them on what they could have. All right. What I mean by that, when I was younger in my career, I would hear a client say something. They would say like, hey, I want a new awesome backyard. I'm thinking I want a patio and a nice space that my family can enjoy. Maybe there's a swimming pool involved. And yeah, I would love that for the backyard. And that's what they came to me and asked. If you actually took a list of notes that they asked for, that's what it was. It was that patio and that potential pool and maybe a little landscaping or something like that. And me as the creative, as the designer, as the one thinking, you know what, that might be what they think they want, but I know what they want. So I'm going to design this space to the nines. I'm going to put in that spa that they didn't mention they wanted, but everybody that has a pool probably wants a spa. And I'm going to make sure that they have all the nice landscape lighting, and they're going to have that pond. They have to have a pond for the sound of water. They're also going to need to have seating walls and a fire pit because all backyards have to have that. And I would extrapolate this project, this design out from 2 or 3 core principal needs of the client into something massive. And I did this because not because I wanted to figure out how to get more money from them. I did this because I was thinking, you know what? This client doesn't know what's possible. So I'm going to educate them right up front. And what that looked like was a design that was way over budget, full of things they didn't want. And what I didn't realize, listeners, is that I was completely overwhelming the customer. I gave them one option, this big option. I figured in my mind, you know what? They could just take the pieces out that they don't want. They could just remove them and they could just, pretend like they aren't there. But the problem is that once they see it all together, they like it. Most of the time, they loved it. And then they got really pissed when they couldn't afford it. So what I'm telling you guys out there, the strategy that we implemented years ago that has helped with this need is, again, back to what I said, give them what they want, what they ask for, while educating them on what they could have. So when it comes to proposals or designs, design it exactly the way that they gave you. Now, if you have a great discovery call process and a great discovery process in general with your customers, you'll have tons of great information to work with in that design. So design something that fits within the realm of what they're looking for. And then on another design, put something together that's even crazier. Maybe it has more things that they haven't considered. But if we don't give them a path to what they want, what they originally came to us for, and we only show them what could be the after educated part, we now have a situation that we're in that we're going to alienate our customers, that they, high probability, they probably won't go with everything that you put in there. And they might even get pissed off at you for trying to upsell them. Because when it comes to upselling, guys, it's not about, the customers don't mind having options presented to them to consider in their project. But what they don't want to see is something that's so centrally integrated in their design that if they pull it out, the entire design changes. And now what they love, that big design that they love, now becomes less and less and less. And they feel like they have to almost downgrade their design to meet their needs. And it just puts them in a weird emotional state where they just don't want to move forward with you because they feel like you've taken advantage of them. Whether you did or didn't, doesn't matter. Whether that was your intent or you're just looking to make sure that they had everything they could possibly want in that space, it's received the same. So my point in telling you all of this is make sure that when your customer, specifically in these times, and times in general, but when times are tighter, that you're not having as many leads, the phone isn't ringing as much, and each lead means more. Make sure that you're listening. So I talked about hearing earlier. What we want to make sure of is that we're listening deeply, capturing their word fragments, and making sure we're delivering a design that completely represents those things with some options to go above, but make sure they aren't so integral to the design that if you pulled out those options that the whole design falls apart. Kind of like putting a house of cards together and pulling out the middle card and the whole thing falls apart because they don't want to have that, say, huge fire pit that you had in the middle of the patio. And when you take it out, it just looks like a big old space with pavers in it, right? So we have to be very careful about how we're designing. So there's strategy involved in all of this. So if you can give them what they want, what they asked for in a design, and then have another design that shows that plus more, it gives you two opportunities. It gives you two opportunities to serve that client and let the client make the difference. Let them make the decision. They can look through it and say, yeah, you know what? I really want to stick with the simpler one, the one that of just the things I have asked for, because that's all I truly need, want, and desire. Because maybe, perhaps listeners are only going to be in their house for another 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and they're going to move on to somewhere else. So they don't want to overinvest. But if you're talking to a customer that's in their forever home and they say, look, someone's going to take me out in a box. I'm staying here. My grandkids are going to come here. This is our house. There's a higher probability of that customer actually wanting to do something more long-term. So it could turn into a bigger project. And they have a much longer horizon for use of the space. So therefore, cost isn't nearly as big of a concern as somebody who's moving out in 3 to 5 years. And for them, it's ROI. That return on their investment. If they're going to put $20,000 into this house, are they going to get it back when they sell in a handful of years? And that's, so different mindsets come into this. But so we have to be very, very aware as sales professionals that we are giving our customers what they want and ask for, and then educating them on what else is possible. In that role, in that realm, you let the customer make the decision. And I will tell you, listeners, oftentimes you'll have customers that'll upsell themselves without you having to even try to do it. That's the power of this, to educate them, because most people do an outdoor living space once or twice in a lifetime. This is your opportunity to show them what's possible while not alienating them from their original need. If we get too far away from that original need at some point in the sales process, they will spin all the way back to that. And they'll say, you know what? This was great that he showed us, or she showed us all these amazing ideas, but we really came to them because we needed a patio and we needed some landscaping for privacy. And that's all we needed. So now we take that big project that's spiraled up to $300,000 and pull it back down to $50,000 because that's really what we came into this relationship to find a solution for. So professionals out there, Listen to your customers. Don't just hear them. So go deeper. Make sure you're capturing their words, trying to understand what they're trying to say truly deeply. Figure out whether they are in it for the short term or the long term, 2 to 3 year time horizon or a whole lifetime time horizon. And then always make sure you give them what they want and then educate them on what they could have. All right, guys. Till next week, go get them.